Welcome to the Kackbrat Chronicles.
What's the fucking brandy situation, mate?
I tried to order brandy quickly, but I couldn't get it in time. Because I also don't want to just drink any brandy. I'm not that guy. If I'm gonna pay fucking £36 or £40 or something, I want the proper stuff. So I just couldn't get it in time. And there's a South African shop that opened up about an hour's drive from us.
All right.
And we went there one day as a little bit of an outing on a Saturday and thought, let's just get out the house and then let's go and treat ourselves a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we got some biltong and droewors, and we got some cool drinks, some proper South African cool drinks that you obviously can't get here, and some snacks, some braai spice.
Mm-hmm.
And some boerewors, and I got a KWV. It's some of the best brandy in South Africa. KWV 10-year brandy for fucking £36. And got home, and I thought, well, fuck, it's so far to drive for this bottle of brandy. Let me just see if I can get it. What will the price be, for argument's sake, on Amazon? Fucking £32 on Amazon. So I could get it. I could get it for cheaper delivered to my fucking front door. That of course pissed me off a little bit, but guess it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just couldn't. I think they're out of stock. So the soonest that I could get it delivered was like Thursday.
Right. Yeah. In the meantime, I also got myself a little cutting board for the sausage.
A charcuterie board.
Oui. La vache qui rit.
I love it that this is now turned into a cooking show, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to cook you guys a very nice carbonara.
What are you eating there? Give us the breakdown. Give us the lowdown.
So this is a fouette. It's like a droewors, but then like a European style. So dry sausages, a lot of fat, pork. The best one is how do you call it, Berico or something from Spain. Really good.
Is it almost like a salami type vibe?
Yeah, but then stronger taste and yeah.
How much of that can you eat before you shit yourself?
Oh, shitloads. Yeah, really. Oh man, I there's a big chance I ate this whole sausage at the end of the episode.
That might be a good place to start, just for shits and giggles. Do you think that your gut biome is like next level now because of all your travels?
100%. So a couple of weeks ago, I was in Morocco and with two friends. One of the guys already got the shits from a pizza on the boat, and the other guy who also traveled the whole world had the shits after 1 week. And I had solid stomach for 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm doing great since I came back. I always had the shits. Normally it was like one step over the border and I got the shits. Rock solid.
I saw a video clip somewhere sometime in the last month or so where they were talking about Steve-O from Jackass, where they said with all of their travels, everywhere they go, they would also always just tell the people, don't drink the water, be careful what you eat, blah blah blah, because of your stomach. And Steve-O also just went, fuck that, I'm just gonna dive face first into this water and food or whatever. And he apparently says, like, at this point he can live off a diet of fucking cement and animal feces, and he's just fine because his gut biome is just fucking indestructible.
Yeah, but it's true. So most of the water outside the Netherlands I just find fucking disgusting. But I think your stomach gets better from it, and a lot of people just brush their teeth with bottled water and stuff. Oh yeah, fuck. You just get like
That's
this
a bit
tiny bit in
excessive,
your
though.
yeah. So yeah, I never made a problem out of it. Yeah, if I turn open the tap and there's brown water coming out, I'm like, okay, maybe I won't do it here. But yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
feel
filtering
like
everywhere.
if you can paint, if you can do a watercolor painting without adding color to the water, then you might not. You should probably not drink it then. But
Yeah, probably yeah.
Martin, the last time we spoke after the last episode, let me also just add, you are now officially just fucking part of the podcast, apparently, because I think this
Yeah.
is your fourth time on. Hey,
Third, I think. But the
no, well,
one.
you were on on your own, and then I did the chat with you in Were you in Kenya?
Yeah, Kenya. Yeah. Oh yeah, the one with Henrietta. Yeah.
And then with Henrietta. So this is number 4.
Yeah. Wow.
Could you believe it?
Man, I feel so honored.
Oh, at this point,
Becoming a celebrity.
You don't need any introduction. Everyone knows
Oh.
who you are now.
When do you get the fucking stickers?
I'll send you some stickers.
Oh.
Can I send you? Have you got space on your bike after all of your?
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're quick, it will be on the biggest bike show of the Netherlands in 2 weeks. So everybody will see your sticker.
Have you got? How big can I go? I want the biggest sticker on there.
So like all the stickers are damaged now, so maybe we can make a little sticker set on the side of the bike saying the Kakpraat Chronicles.
Maybe we should have a chat afterwards. Maybe I should fit your bike with a proper decal. But what? Oh yeah, the last time we had a quick chat. This is obviously after your whole Africa trip. If I can remember correctly, you were in your music hall fucking palace there, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. My old job.
We had a quick beer, and if I can remember correctly, I just quickly asked you how it is to be back home. But I think if you can sort of take me through what went through your head from day one, being back in the Netherlands, to, for argument's sake, 2 weeks down the line or 3 weeks down the line. How was it to now integrate yourself back into, I almost want to say, don't want to say reality, but to integrate back into perceived normal life?
Well, you know, the moment I crossed the Dutch border, I saw the sign with the Netherlands. It was like, oh, this was something special. And then I got home and all my friends were there. We're having beers and having a good party, like all times, and it was freaking awesome. And then like every day you meet people you didn't see for over a year or longer, and having beers and blah 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 blah. And everybody, it's free beers for 2 weeks. That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
But then suddenly everybody saw you, and everybody just moves on with their own life. And because you're away for so long, you're not part of their daily routine anymore. And suddenly it gets really lonely. It gets fucking lonely. So it's very weird to come back. Yeah. Apart from the part like, yeah, I'm free, I'm traveling, and now I'm back home, working again, blah blah blah. There's weird stuff going on in your mind. Yeah, definitely.
Was it difficult to sort of get back onto more of a routine lifestyle, where obviously in the last 14 months you basically did what you wanted to do?
Oh yeah, what's the worst? So where you called me. There's a theater where I used to work.
Yeah.
And I used to
Theatre,
work there
that's
from
the word.
2016 till 2019. And then when I was in Jordan, I got a call from my old boss. Hey, Martin, there is a job opportunity here. Do you want to get back here? And blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's a cool place. Let's try it. And I forgot the question. What was the question?
No, to sort of get back into routine. Was it difficult to get back into routine?
Oh, yeah. And then suddenly, like 1 week after I got back, I got back into the job. And suddenly I was at the same venue every fucking day and working like standard hours. It just was the worst. It was the worst. From being so free, going everywhere when you want, and suddenly just everybody tells you, oh, you have to be here at 1 o'clock, and then you work till 11, and that's it. And it's one of the better venues in the Netherlands to work, but still, like this daily routine just killed me. It just fucking killed me. So yeah, that's why I already quit my job. So, well,
That was short lived. But
yeah,
I mean, obviously, I don't know how it feels, but I can put myself into that sort of position, and I mean, you must feel like a fucking caged bird at this point.
yeah, definitely. Also because I got into the job so freaking fast, there was no time to get used to the whole living in the Netherlands again. It was just like straight back to reality. Yeah, it's harsh. It's fucking harsh. Huh.
This might be a weird question, but while I was now looking through all your stuff, I had this thought of whenever you listen to people that used to be in this is going to sound funny, but if you listen to people that talk about sort of, let's say, someone that's been in jail for 10 years or 15 years or 25 years,
I know.
and
I like where this is getting.
and they go back into society.
Yeah.
One of the things that, and funny enough, I've listened to quite a few interviews of people that were in jail. One of the things that they normally say is sleeping in a proper bed feels weird. It's almost too comfortable, and it's not. You've gotten used to a certain type of thing, and now you're back into. It is a known thing. It is your bed, but it's not your bed anymore. Did you have the same type of thing?
I don't know. No, I can't say that. I think I slept in so many different beds in the past 2 years. I can sleep everywhere. I invested in a better mattress because I realized it is so much shittier than the one of my girlfriend, and we couldn't. Yeah, she couldn't sleep in my place. I was okay. Well, yeah, I can sleep everywhere. Same when I was in Morocco a couple of weeks back. I just sleep on my air mattress in the tent, and it's just like the best bed in the world. Yeah, no, the bed doesn't do anything for me.
Because I don't think of the bed is. I think the bed is one thing, but I think I might have asked it a bit shitty. Is it difficult to fall back into comfortability, if that is even a word? Because you maybe slept uncomfortable, and it's in a tent and it's on a shitty mattress and all of that, but you wake up every morning with a hell of a view, most likely in the middle of nowhere, and now you wake up in your bed and it's much more comfortable, but when you wake up you look at your room, there's no view.
Yeah.
Does it feel? I think. Yeah, I think I just asked it shitty. Does
Well, maybe I also gave a shitty answer, so then we're even again. I don't know. You know, definitely in Africa, I slept at so many lodges, and a lodge becomes just like a bedroom. That's a shitty thing about long traveling. You get so numb for stuff. Um, Maybe I sound arrogant, but then it's just like a different lodge, different day.
Yeah, what you get
And it's
used
just
to,
like
what you get used to.
yeah, and it's just those few moments. I remember like in the middle of the Saudi desert, waking up at the sand dunes and just nothing there, and suddenly some car rocks up in the middle of the the desert. But yeah, but most of the times I didn't sleep in so many so beautiful places anyway. So yeah, but yeah, it is weird to wake up at the same spot every day. Um, but I also realize it's very nice to wake up at your own place again, and to have like your own personal space. I didn't have any personal space. I slept in a lot of dorms and whatever what. Um, I never stayed somewhere longer than for a week or something. Um, so yeah, just walking through the apartment, um, even naked or whatever, you could do that for ages, and that's actually pretty nice. So I think I got used to that comfort quite easily. Yeah, yeah. A funny thing is not just like comfort, but it's also like material stuff. I ordered so many shit last week. Uh, and I just got a new MacBook today. Got a new car. I got new shoes and like stuff like that. I would never give myself during the trip. I suddenly give myself again. So it's very easy to fall back in the normal life. But in the back, there's always this little thing. What the fuck are you doing here? And that's
Yeah,
the thing that really fucks you up.
I think it's listening to what you're saying now. I guess it's a different type of freedom where you had one type of freedom while you were traveling,
No.
for argument's sake, through Africa, through the Middle East, and all that. It's one type of freedom where you can do, in one sense, you could do whatever you want, but then going back to, as you said, to your house, where it's your own room, your own bathroom, your own four walls. It's a different type of freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also a different kind of like financial freedom. I didn't have any income when I was on my trip. I
Mm.
had a budget of $50 a day. That was it. And if you had an expensive room, you had a shitty meal, or the other way around. And yeah, and that was it. And now suddenly, my bank account is rising instead of going down, and so there's other freedoms coming back. Definitely.
Were you, if you take a look back now, we'll get to your Morocco trip in a minute.
Mm.
But if you take a look at just your trip from Cape Town to the Netherlands, um, did you ever get bored?
What now?
Did,
Or
no, on your trip, did you get
yeah,
bored? Were there
hundred
were there
percent.
days that
Yeah,
that you said, "Fuck, I don't know what to do with myself now."
yeah. You know what the worst thing is? Fucking reels. I'm sitting in Africa on a lodge and I'm watching reels on Facebook. What the fuck? Could have done that in the Netherlands. Yeah, I definitely got bored. And what I said, you get numb and you get tired. And I think that's the most annoying thing on a trip is you get tired, but somehow you always have a date in your agenda and your diary, and it never goes away. And yeah, where do I want to go with this story? Yeah, so maybe bored is not like the right word, but sometimes irritated because you wanted to go somewhere, or you had this feeling you had to get somewhere, and somehow there's also like a pressure about what you do on the trip. So it's not always so how do you say it? Like you don't feel free of mind or anything. Um, so yeah, but there's some boredom there in Wales. But yeah, I don't know. This was a weird answer, wasn't it?
It was. It's. I mean, it makes 100%
Well,
sense, and it's weird. I think it is a sign of the times that um, you are in the middle of nowhere in Africa somewhere, and I don't mean you, that everyone most likely does the same. You're in the middle of nowhere, and it's just so easy to take out your phone and scroll through Facebook Reels, as you said. And I was thinking about that, sort of like, that's obviously why I asked you the question, because I thought on the one hand, I thought that might be the answer. Everyone gets bored, but I was wondering what you did in those times. Did you go for a walk? Did you go fucking look at a grasshopper? Or
It was horrible. I had screen times of 7 hour plus a day when I was in Africa.
Wow.
And now I'm back in the Netherlands. It's like 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours max.
That is crazy.
That is fucking crazy. It's a fucking working day.
Wow.
But I'm not sure if it also like calculated like navigation. If I'm 6 hours on the bike,
Right. Okay,
6 hours Google Maps on. But still, yeah, I spent so much fucking time on that fucking phone. It's I fucking hate it when people talk, oh, everybody's on the phone all the time. But it is actually fucking true. I already ate half of my sausage.
Fucking hell, you're rolling, my man.
Oh, man.
You've gone through 14 months of famine. Now you're packing in now.
Mate, I've been vegetarian for 15 years. I'm just making up for all the sausages I missed.
Just say that again so I can just make sure that I heard you correctly.
I've been vegetarian for 15 years.
Why?
There was, when I was 10, there was like this pork disease going on.
Sorry, and, pork disease.
Yeah. And they were killing like all the porks without checking if they were ill or whatever. What? It's like, oh, I don't want to be part of this system. So it's like, oh, I'm going to stop eating meat. And I kept this going.
There's other meats besides pork.
Yeah, well, come on, bacon is the best.
Steak, my man. Come on.
What's a burger without bacon?
It's good like fucking cheeseburger. Proper beef burger.
No, mate.
Come on.
It's like a bra on the washing line. The best is out.
I don't know if you can make that fucking connotation, but so you decided, because of bad pork, you decided you're not going to have anything else.
Yeah, no, I was just not happy how the industry was dealing with the situation about killing all those pigs, and I wasn't a fan of all the mindless killing. You know, you wouldn't believe it with all the meat I eat right now, but I'm quite a fan of nature.
I love it. You go, yeah, no, I fucking hate all of this killing of animals while you're stuffing your face with an animal.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's good sausage.
So when did this change? When you went on this trip?
When I went on my second backpacking trip, I went to Asia, and I was working in the event business for already 5 years or something, and back then the food was always shit, especially when you were vegetarian. There was always like a salad with goat cheese. That was your dinner. I was fuck the shit. I can't do it anymore. And I was going on a trip, and I had the excuse, yeah, I want to experience all the food and the cultures and blah 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 blah. So I'm gonna eat meat on my trip, and then there was no way back anymore.
But goat cheese isn't vegetarian.
It's vegetarian, isn't it?
No, it comes from a goat.
Yeah, but it's vegetarian, not vegan.
No, it's an animal byproduct. It's an animal product, not even a byproduct. It's an animal product.
Yeah, but it's not. It didn't kill a goat to eat it, so it's not vegan, but it's vegetarian.
I don't know. I feel like that's cheating a bit. I don't know. Obviously,
like
I don't know the rules of vegetarianism. I fucking eat everything.
If you don't need to kill an animal for it, it's vegetarian. Well, but that's the old
I think
days.
is that not vegan? I feel like that's
Or
vegan.
if you
Vegetarian
don't
is
eat any
fruit and
animal,
nuts and shit.
if you don't eat animal products, then it's vegan. If you don't have to kill an animal for it, it's vegetarian.
You know, it's all just
You're,
fucking bullshit. Just eat the
you're from
steak and
South
get
Africa.
over it.
You don't have vegetarian down there. You only have fucking braai and boerenworst.
If I had to tell my dad at the age of, what did you say, at 10 years old?
10. Yeah.
If I had to tell my dad at 10 years old, listen here, I'm not eating meat anymore, he would have given me the fucking pimp hand, most likely. I would get one of those and just fucking shut the fuck up, boy.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the opinion of my dad as well, but my mom was quite nice. So.
Fucking hell. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Weird
That's
stories
quite
coming
an
out, eh?
interesting.
Oh.
That's quite an interesting shift. Was it difficult for you to then just eat meat again, or did you go like, "Ooh, this is so nice. I missed this."
Well, I don't know. When I was in Asia, I had the shits all the time, but I'm not sure if it came from the meat or if it was just Asian food and like 10 beers every day.
Well, it might be the 10 beers every day, but it's also coming back to gut biome. Obviously, your kritze in your stomach has gotten used to just eating fucking cucumber the whole time, and now you're feeding it meat, and it doesn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, you know, and after that, I went to New Zealand. You could get like 500-gram steak for $4, and a fucking eggplant was $6. What are you gonna get? Steak or an eggplant?
Eggplant's not bad, but fucking steak, my man.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
I want to ask you just to come back to adapting to sort of normal lifestyle. I don't know if you can remember me, you, and Henrietta spoke about a shift in baseline in terms of happiness, where obviously if you go through traveling like you guys did, you're experiencing new stuff the whole time, and I think the sort of outcome of the question at that point was that definitely your baseline does shift, as you said now as well. You get used to stuff very quickly, where someone that would experience that for the first time would go, this is fucking amazing. But because you do it for 14 months on end, then you sort of get used to, in some ways, in some form, the views and all of that. Now, being back sort of integrated into normal society, do you feel a sense of not necessarily depression, but do you feel a sense of like, oh, fuck, I'm not I don't want to say not happy, but do you feel like your baseline has shifted a bit?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Yeah. It's harder to take my breath away for something beautiful. Yeah, especially when I went to Morocco. Like, oh yeah, yeah, it's nice here, but it's a desert again, you know. But on the other hand, it's also like a lot of stuff just brings back memories. When I was in northern Morocco, we were riding through these green, lush mountains, and there were rice fields and whatever. And I was like, "Fuck, man, I'm back in Rwanda," you know. So yeah, but yeah, I think I'm not getting that happy from seeing stuff again as easily as before, especially like nature-wise, because I don't want to brag, but it's been a hell of a trip, and I've seen so fucking much, and yeah, and there's a lot of been there, done that, you know.
Yeah. Also, I think that the path that you chose on your first sort of intercontinental big trip, you chose one of the best ones. I mean, it is a proper bucket list item that you ticked off.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is something to say about that. Is what is next? How do you one up that? It is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think one thing I've like for what next, like Central Asia, because Africa is beautiful, but a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of tourism in Africa, and yeah, you see that everywhere, and you get treated as a tourist in a lot of places, although you think you're quite remote, but you are not. Um, and I sometimes miss like the pure cultures. So I'm really looking into Central Asia where there's no tourism. And you get to pure cultures, and I hope that will trigger my happiness again. And another one is just South America with all the crazy nature, and
Mm,
also like the very social part, um, because Africa is very touristy, but also rich touristy. A lot of people come to nice lodges, do safaris, bloody, bloody, bloody. Costs shitloads of money, but it's not like a very big backpacker scene. And I think Central and South America is going to be like so cool because you meet so many people and have parties everywhere. Yeah, that's actually the next trip. Spoiler.
oh well, the next podcast.
Yeah, good for you.
This might be another funny question, but being back with people that you know, friends and family, um, familiar faces. If you if you look if you look back at the last 14 months, or the 14 months that you traveled through Africa, meeting new people every day, every second day, new faces, new stories. Do you get, like I said, this is a funny question, but do you get bored with your friends now very quickly? Because it's like, yeah, I know you. Do you miss that constant inflow of new people, new faces, or is it nice for you to actually go and have drinks with the same guy every Friday, for argument's sake?
I don't really miss like meeting the new people all the time. Yeah, it's very cool because you always get a new view of the world with every person you meet. The biggest problem I have right now is that I get back and see friends, also some good friends, and I just can't relate with them anymore because you thought you were always on the same page, and suddenly they are still at the same page, and you just, for my feeling, went 4 pages ahead now. Which also sounds pretty cocky again, but
If
for
you
me,
if you
for me,
say that
a lot.
you've sorry,
Yeah,
if you say that you've gone, for argument's sake, 4 pages ahead, do you feel like it's in a sense of like personal growth, or what do you mean you feel like you're ahead now?
I don't know. It's like really personal growth, but a lot of stuff happened in my life, and they are still at the same point where I was before my trip.
Yeah,
I don't know if
working
it's
the same
personal
job,
growth.
living in the same town, sort of
Yeah,
driving
and I
the
don't know
same
if it's
car, same thing.
I don't think it's personal growth, but in my head, so in your head, you always go into the right direction. Um, but they took a different path in their right direction. But it's suddenly not my right direction anymore. But because you've been apart for such a long time, it's suddenly such a hard shift, I think. And yeah, that's the thing I struggle the most with. And it's actually with a couple of good friends I used to see like every fucking week and have like good conversation with. And yeah, and that's yeah, and that's something I struggle more with than just about like meeting all the people, because yeah, I can meet a lot of people here as well. I work with other people every day because of touring for my work, and yeah, meeting people is not a thing I lack of.
Spending spending so much time alone in Africa. Did you were there quite a few conversations going on in your head, sort of introspectively. Did you fucking chime that banana, my man? Did you have did you learn some new stuff about yourself? Let me ask it that way. Was there moments of truth, I almost want to say, where you had some difficult conversations with yourself, or not necessarily difficult, but did you sit under a tree somewhere and go, fuck, okay, I didn't know that this is going to go on, introspectively?
On my trip?
Yeah,
No.
on your trip, yeah.
No. This is the thing you expect. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna evolve as a person, blah blah blah. And then I'm sitting in this lodge, like feeling useless and feeling like the same shitty old ADD guy. Like fuck.
When you say you feel useless, why?
Yeah, I still feel like Henrietta said that thing on the podcast, like your adventure is somebody else's daily life, and that becomes reality. And it's not that hard, buy a bike, put some luggage on it, and ride from Cape Town to the top of Africa. That's all it is. But so I didn't had these conversations with myself that much because I didn't feel a reason to have a conversation, because I still felt the same. But when I got back, I realized I got a lot happier with myself than before, and that's a thing I really gained. So it was not like these conversations with myself during my trip, but only after the trip I realized, I'm not that loser I thought I was. I'm even worse now.
No, but would you say that you what's the word? Would you say that you I've got the Afrikaans word in my head now. I'm struggling with the English one.
What's the Afrikaans word?
Het jy jouself verken? Did you
discover yourself?
Yeah, almost like discover yourself, but not. Yeah, but that's not in that sense. But yeah. I mean, did you
find myself?
Man, not find yourself, but in a sense, find yourself. Are you a lot more comfortable with yourself now?
Yeah,
with 100%. Who and what you are.
Yeah, I didn't realize it at first because, I just did my thing like always. But I actually got this comment when I was just a couple of days before I flew to the Middle East. When I was in Kenya, like 2 days after the podcast, someone said to me, "I like how comfortable you are." I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm just doing my thing. Nobody's telling me what to do." I said to everyone, "I'm gonna ride from Africa to Australia," and decide not to go to Australia anymore. And yeah, what the fuck? What? Who's gonna argue with me? I'm the one here. So yeah, and that being comfortable with myself, I really took home. So in that kind of sense, I found myself. Doesn't mean I don't struggle with myself and then sometimes hate myself for how I'm doing stuff, because I fucking hate myself so often. But that's a bit of growth I really did. I eat fruit now.
There's I think a comment or a heading or something that you made somewhere while you were on at this overland event. On one of your stories, you said, "I like overland events because then you don't feel like a weirdo."
Yeah, 100%.
Is that kind of like what you're saying?
No, that's something else. That's because I said before, I can give you a bike and you can ride to Cairo. Yeah. That's how easy it is. and a lot of stuff is happening along the way, and there are challenges, but at the end, it's easier than having a fucking 9 to 5 job. But if you're not doing this kind of stuff, it looks like a very big challenge. And talking to people who did like similar things and
like-minded
realize how life is on the road, you just can relate with in a different way than I can with my normal friends who never rode further than the south of France, if they ever got there. You know, yeah. And then there's stupid stuff happening like a freaking Bohemian Rhapsody sing along.
Yeah, I think that was the exact thing.
Well,
But I
100%.
kind of wonder if there's something in your mind that triggers, and not necessarily when I say your mind, I don't mean your mind, in a person's mind, when you know you will only be amongst these people for 2 days or 3 days or a day. If there's a switch that goes off and goes, oh, I'll most likely never see these people again. I can now just be whoever and whatever I want to be. And if I can be myself, so much better to you.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there's something like that where you become your true self when you're around people that you'll never see again.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I heard this one before, and I've been thinking about it. To a certain point, yes. At the beginning, I was still like very busy with. I'm the guy who was riding through Africa on the bike, and I still felt quite special about it or something. But in the end, you get to a different place every different day, and then yeah, and I got to that point. I was like, yeah, fuck it, this is just me, and exactly what you said. I can be whoever I want, but in the end, I only wanted to be myself, and that was actually quite nice. So I got really happy with that, just getting shit faced and yeah, do stupid dances. I started dancing a lot suddenly, and do the most weird hippie dancing. I fucking love it, and yeah.
Well, I guess that
Oh, that
speaks
was a
to
weird answer
that.
again, eh?
No, it's a perfect answer because it does speak
Mm.
to, as you said earlier, the sense of freedom that you get when you are on the road like that. And I do think it must have something to do with the fact that you understand that you'll most likely never see those people again.
Yeah.
That you are having drinks with at a pub in a random place in Africa, and you can just be silly and you can just be fucking out there because you enjoy yourself in the most simplest form of the word.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, like, other people can be like that as well, and you just have like this weird memory of someone like this guy I met in Myanmar in 2016, and we met at night when we both arrived at the hostel. He was Dutch as well, and we went on some canoe trip together, and he had a tattoo on his ass saying Bangkok because he was in Bangkok and he wrote down Bangkok and he said, I want this on my ass. So he had Bangkok spelled wrong on his ass because the tattoo artist was like, okay, I'll just chew that on my ass. And yeah, normally people would be ashamed to show it, but because you're like in the fucking Asia, like, oh, I'm not gonna see these people again. And so you meet so many fucking weird people who are just, yeah, I don't know.
Can I just ask you why you saw a guy's ass while you were on a canoe trip, just the two of you?
Because he told me, oh man, I got this great tattoo.
I met a guy at Josh's pub, if I can remember correctly. He's a guy from like I'm pretty sure he's from like Liverpool or somewhere, and he was chatting a girl up at the bar, and he asked her what's your name, and for argument's sake, she said Alison, and he says, you won't believe it, I've got your name tattooed on my ass. And she said, there's no way. And he says, yeah, no, I'll show you.
Oh, yeah, I got so.
And he pulled down his pants, and all it says on his ass is your name. And that's just the perfect fucking icebreaker. If you're fine with showing your ass to anyone. But I feel like that's the best fucking tattoo ever. It's just your name. It's a perfect icebreaker.
Yeah. No,
Tell me,
should get that tattoo.
while we're on the topic of this overland event, take me through that. How did they contact you? What did you do? How did that go?
Oh, it's just a girl I got in touch with on Instagram like years ago already, and she was also back from a big trip for a few months, and she was talking at that event, and she was, oh, you should come, and if you do a presentation, it will be for free, and you get some free beers. I was like, oh yeah, that's enough. And yeah, that's how it went. And I made 2 presentations, one about my trip, one about navigating with a special app, which I already planned to do for a different event. And yeah, so easy it is.
And what was the turnout? Did people actually like your speech?
Yeah, well, the first one was
or your presentation.
Well, so I did these 2 talks in 2 different events, and then the first one, I was like fucking nervous doing the talk. Well, it went quite well. And then I had the one about the navigating stuff, and somehow fucking nothing worked anymore. I tried to connect my tablet to the projector, didn't work anymore, blah, blah, blah. So I was standing in front of 60 people with my tablet in the air doing like pointing stuff. But yeah, then I did it on a different event in September. And I had a full venue, and had everybody laughing at my dick jokes. And yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Penis.
Yeah. Penis. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I had like a map of Namibia, and it was like showing different routes, and in the end, a big penis. Yeah. It was fun. Henrietta was there actually.
I saw that. Oh. I saw that she was there. Was it was it weird catching up? Was it weird seeing someone that you've sort of like gone this route with, and then seeing in a more sort of not professional setup, but more in like a non-traveling setup?
Well, because it was like an event, especially for overlanders, it just felt like the same. And also, Henrietta and I were just like back fresh, you know. So it's just like catching up on the road again, you know. It was really cool.
How many people do you actually still keep in touch with? If you take a look back at I keep going back to this 14-month period, and I'm doing that for a reason, just to isolate that specific trip. But if you take a look back and all the people that you met and all the numbers or email addresses or whatever you exchanged, how many people do you still keep in touch with?
About 10. Yeah. So a few people from the Netherlands. 2 ladies I met. Just the first day I arrived in Cape Town. 2 Dutch ladies who were going to travel with one of their daughters through Africa. Then some other Dutch couple, and a few who I shipped my bikes with to Oman and Henrietta, obviously. I think it's about 10, maybe 15 max. But also that is like every couple of weeks I text one of them, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
At last, I think this is probably the last thing that I'll ask you from that trip. But did you ever? I know that you somewhere during the trip. I know that you took some time off to go to a wedding, and that is when we did the first podcast.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like taking a holiday from your holiday? Did you ever feel like parking your bike somewhere and just fucking off to someplace else for a week or 2?
No. If I look back at that, I will not do that so easily again. So I flew back twice. Once for the wedding, once for Christmas, and the Christmas was a special moment because it was 1 year after my father passed away. But it brings so much hassle because it sounds very stupid, but suddenly there's a date in your calendar and that fucks up your whole mind, and it costs a shitload of money and so much preparation with leaving your bike somewhere, getting it arranged, and blah 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 blah. And you suddenly spend way too much money back home as well because you want to get beers with everybody, and you suddenly realize, oh, maybe I should replace that bit of gear, which would have worked like for another 6 months easily. So yeah, no, I wouldn't park on my bike easily anymore. The only thing what I would do again is like what I did with my mom in Namibia: get a car, travel around Namibia for a month or some other country then in the future. Yeah, I would do that, but not flying back home for a fucking wedding. Wedding is very special for someone, but like being on a trip like this is also very special for me.
Yeah.
And and to be honest, I wonder if other people would do the same.
Yeah, I think that might be one of those sliding doors conversations where, I mean, you, as you said, you wonder. It's always that would it be reciprocated? Would they make a trip in the middle of a trip to come to your wedding?
Yeah.
The reason why I asked the sole reason why I asked that, if you take a normal person that works a day job, going a year without a holiday, without having days off, is quite a difficult thing. I mean, we used up all our leave to go to South Africa in March. So from the end of March, I've not had any holiday up until now. I'm taking my first week of leave in April. So I would have basically, I'm going a full year without taking leave, and I can feel it. I can feel that I've just been working, and I was wondering if it's the same, because I mean, you were, for all intents and purposes, you were on holiday for 14 months, but it's not really holiday. It's not.
No.
It's not the same. So that's just why I asked you. Did you ever feel like having a holiday from your holiday?
Yeah, 100%. I think the best places I've been were Wild Spirit in Plettenberg Bay in South Africa, Jungle Junction in Malawi, northern Malawi, and some place at Kenya, Diani Beach. And the reason why was because I just parked my bike for a week and didn't do fuck all, but apart from drinking beer, it is costing a lot of energy to be on the move all the time, like receiving all these energies, cultures, blah blah. I really needed a holiday so now and then. So I did it every couple of months, like a week somewhere.
Well, I guess, I mean, in that sense, you do take a break from, you do take a holiday then for that week, I guess. I mean, just not moving, just staying in one place and having drinks and Mart, let's just quickly take a piss break, and then we can continue. I've got a fucking problem, and I've said this on so many previous podcasts, but I've got a I won't say problem. Sorry, your screen went black now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just maximize your screen.
Okay. I've got a, let's call it not a problem. Let's call it a thought experiment. For so long, I don't know how many months I've been thinking of this, is how to think of something new, how to think of something that no one's ever thought of. And I can't I don't know how to get to that point. And I always try to think of
acid.
acid, copious amounts of drugs. But I mean, in a setup like this now, because you've done your presentations and you talk to a lot of people and you've done podcasts outside of mine. I'm pretty sure you've been on other podcasts.
I think you're the only one who wants me. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm a bit angry that you have like in Netherlands the motor podcast or the motorcycle podcast. They didn't ask me yet, but they asked my friend. I'm a bit angry.
Oh, fuck you guys.
Fuck you guys. I'm at the Cockpot Chronicles. I'm fucking international, mate.
Yeah. No, I sit here like working on an episode, and then I always just go like, fucking, how can I? And oftentimes I just think like, oh, this is a great question, but then, like I said, now when I ask it to you, I feel like I'm not verbalizing it properly. But if you're happy with the question so far, then
yeah, the thing I like about the questions is like you can see, I'm not very good in like answering questions straight away because so I'm incredibly ADD and I start thinking about stuff when I talk. So yeah, maybe you shouldn't see it like as you're asking me a stupid question, but it starts a thinking progress of thinking or whatever.
No, but that's exactly what I want. Is I want to. I mean, that is. That's what makes not accomplished, but I almost want to say that's what makes me feel accomplished. Is if I ask you something that you have to think about, because that just means that you've not been asked that question before, and then I go, fucking yes.
Yeah. I was just listening to the radio before I got here, and there was they were talking about there were two DJs and they gave a prize to a girl who won tickets to Sum 41 or whatever, or Simple Plan, and she could meet the guys of Simple Plan. What are you gonna ask? And she was like, oh, I have no fucking clue. And then they asked the DJ, who is a very big fan of Dua Lipa. He said, I would just like listen to every fucking interview with Dua Lipa. I just come up with the best questions just to make her think. And he actually also tried to get laid with her, but yeah, he haven't met
nice.
her yet. So.
Well, let me ask you this. What is something that you wish someone would ask you? What is something that you want to talk about that that you don't necessarily get anyone asking you about?
Good question. I don't know. I just don't want the questions anymore. Like, oh, you must have felt very free. Oh, you just had the time of your life. Oh, cool how you just went. And like these cliches, shitty stuff. There's things I can't.
Sorry, I asked a few of those questions.
No. You did not. You had like more specific questions. And the question, how can you afford it? While they are driving a BMW.
Yeah, save money.
Which actually happened. Yeah. Well, I actually had like this question of this guy at this place at Plettenberg Bay. Did you start in crypto early, or did you sell your company, or how can you do this? And he was a German guy, and I asked him like, what car do you drive? He's like, BMW. So which one? Yeah, the smallest one. Oh, 1 Series. So it's like 50,000 euros. Yeah. Well, that's 3 years on the road for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me change my question. What is the question that you are the most tired of? What's the question that fucking makes you cringe?
Are you never feeling scared? I think that's the worst one.
Well, I mean, you do have to understand why you get that question, because you travel through Africa, which is known for being unsafe.
Did you feel unsafe?
But I mean, we've had this conversation before, and I've had this conversation with numerous other people, and it's, listen here, if I go, Hull is the city closest to us. If I go there in the middle of the night into a dodgy area, I'm not going to feel safe. It is, it's you can travel on safe routes and be fine. It's you sort of have to plan your situation. And I mean, you traveled through your Middle East part of the trip. Is I actually had this. Me and one of the guys on the farm actually spoke about you today, and I explained to him sort of all the countries you went through from Cape Town, and as soon as I said you went from Oman over to the Middle East, he said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, he went to Iraq and Qatar and what's the other place? Saudi." And he says, "Does he know that people disappear there and you never hear from them again?"
Well,
and I said, "Yeah, but it's also if you fucking it depends on where you go."
So I can tell you one thing about the Middle East, but there's no place I felt so safe as I felt in the Middle East. Fucking hell, man. Oman is one of the safest places in the world. I think it's like number 12 on the rankings of the country with the least amount of criminality. It's in the...
Is it because there's... Why would you say that is?
Because if you steal something, they cut off your hand.
Exactly. That's the exact answer that I was hoping for.
No, I don't know what the real reason is, but yeah, the punishes are hard, but there's also some kind of respect for each other. And there is not a lot of tourism, especially in the north there is, but in the south there's not. And people are very excited of you being there. Saudi and Qatar, people just waving out of cars. You know, what the fuck? Getting invited for coffee like all the time. And I was there during Ramadan, and I heard from friends who were there outside of Ramadan. They hardly ever booked a hotel because they always could sleep somewhere, eat somewhere. Yeah.
This is a question that I've asked a few people on the podcast, people who travel. You've obviously, in the last 2 years, you've seen a shitload of different cultures, religions, differences in every way, sense, and form that you can think about. And I always wonder, does that... And I've never been able to put this question into a proper question because it tumbles around in my mind how to ask it. But I'm going to try. Has it changed your mindset in a way that option A, we are, as humanity in a whole, we are a lot more the same than what we are different? Or do you think after all of your travels, does it show you that we are actually, the diversity of it all is unexplainable? Or do you think it is much more similar? I don't know if that made sense. Like I said, I still struggle with myself with that question.
It made a lot of sense. But we are all the fucking same. You know, we get born and we die around the age of 80. The thing we need is food and water every fucking day, and some people get it easier than others. And the harder it gets to get it, the more you pray to something you know nothing about. That's how the world works. And if you have nothing, you fight to get something. And if you have something, you fight to keep it. Or to get more.
Are you religious?
No.
Not at all.
No.
You've gone through countries that are very religious, very I won't say set in their ways. There must be a better way of saying this. Very, very traditional. Let's go this way. Very traditional in their beliefs. Has that changed your way of thought at all? That sitting on a table with someone in Ramadan, and sort of having conversations with them, has that changed your sense of religiousness in any way?
It didn't change my thinking of if I should believe or not. It definitely changed the way about how I think about certain religions, where I think the Christian church is doing stuff in Africa, is having so much power in Africa, they are using the wrong way. And they're really messing up stuff.
Can I can I
Definitely,
ask you can I ask you what you mean by that?
yeah, just like being very conservative about how you say, like birth control and stuff like that. AIDS going everywhere. You're still like shouting, "Oh, you shouldn't use a condom," blah 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 blah. And there's a lot of money in the churches, while 10 meters away from the churches, people can't eat. That's something I really struggle with. And the other one hand, the Islam, which has a very bad name in the world. I really see people are taking care of each other. And if there's someone who can't afford a meal, a restaurant gifts a meal to that person because it's part of their culture.
Mm.
And that's the bad religion in our world. And that's something I've been thinking about. And it's not that I'm like, oh yeah, Islam is great, because it has its less sides as well. And I think maybe like the Islam um, in the Middle East is not as up to date as like Christianity is in Europe, but still. Um, and also, the more I see of all these different cultures, um, the more you see the origins are the same. They all come from the area of Israel or Palestine, um, and everyone took their own part of the story and evolved over the centuries. But I just had lunch with a guy who is Christian. Very strong believer. He doesn't eat pork because it's not like how you say it. How they in
Kosher.
Islam say it, not haram.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's the same for Christians and for Jews because it's like in the Old Testament. But the Christians don't do too much with that, like averagely spoken. So, and then there's the Jesus and the grandfather of Jesus, who are prophets in the Islam. So there's so many similarities. Yeah, I think we can shout to each other about, oh, you should believe this, you should believe that. I think we all have our own part in the story, and we should practice our own part of the story. The story you think that's the right story. Just leave each other with that.
I'm on board with that. I must say, I grew up in a very sort of strict Christian home
Mm,
set up, and I've also, through my call it travels in life or whatever,
mm,
come to realize that I actually had I was milking the whole of last week. Sorry, I was milking the whole of last week, and I had it's I mean, you stand and milk for 8 hours on end, and you're in your head the whole time because you don't talk to anyone. You're standing there doing the same thing for 8 hours. And even though I mainly just listen to podcasts while I'm milking, you'll listen to a certain conversation, and then you almost switch to having a conversation with yourself while this conversation is happening in the background. And they were talking about religion, and I had this thought of looking at my own life. Religion isn't something. Talking about Christianity now, it's not something that I chose. I grew up with it. I won't say it was forced onto me, but I mean, I grew up in a Christian household. We went to church, and everything that accompanies it. And I never, as funny as it might sound, I never got the option to choose. It was, no, this is what we do.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it's the same in a lot of other religions, a lot of other countries, where you don't necessarily get choice, because that's the house you grow up in. That's the religion that you grow up with.
Yeah.
And I often wonder if we were able to go onto a system where it's a blank slate, and when you get to the age of, for argument's sake, let's do this. Another thought experiment. They say your brain is fully developed when you're 25 years old. I wonder what would happen if we keep religion out of everything, out of 100% out of your life, up until the age of 25, and then you introduce someone to religion. I wonder what would happen, because then you're able to formulate your own train of thought in terms of certain things, and I think you understand life in a better way. And it's I think it'll be very interesting if you can do that. If you take someone out of society for 25 years, for argument's sake, and then you give him you sit him next to a table, and you go, all right, this is all the religions on earth. There you go. With no indoctrination in any way, sense, or form, and you go, choose one or choose none. I wonder what would happen.
Well, I think a lot of people would go for choose none, because it's suddenly like a shitload that comes to you when you choose one. But I think
that does say a lot, though. I think the sentence that you just said says a lot.
Yeah, maybe. But I think if you would just like teach about the different religions from like young, without telling like you're a Christian, because that's what happens, you say you get born in a family of Christians, so you are a Christian. I had to so I've been born in a Christian family as well. It's not like that strict, but yeah, I was part of the church. And then I moved house. I got my first apartment, and then I got a letter from my new church. I was like, I didn't know I was like officially connected to a church, so it really gets enforced on you. And I think it would be better if like nobody tells you like you are part of this religion, but teaches you about all the different religions from a young age, and you can take all the lessons from all the different religions. Because in the end, it's just like a manual of life. The Bible is a manual of life, and not like Jesus walked on water. Probably it was like -10, and he walked over ice. But like taking like all these metaphors and taking the life lessons out of it, because it's all about just live live in peace with each other. That's the main sentence of the whole fucking Bible. And it's the same about the Quran, but there's some other stuff around it, because it's like 2,000 years back, or maybe 1,500 years since the Bible is written. There's always also thoughts of that time in that book about being gay and whatever what, about being circumcised, because these people lived in the fucking desert, and if there's sand behind your foreskin, you're not happy. So I think that would be a better one, and I think that's also how I would raise my kids. I don't believe in a God, but these religions are here, and these religions bring some pretty cool stuff, but don't take it too literal and see it in the time we live right now, and not in the Middle Ages where your head was cut off when you stole something.
I think that's. I mean, I've got a kid that he turns 4 in April, and we are sort of going that way where I think I'm taking all the good stuff from what I've learned in life, whether it's religious or not. Where, I mean, my kid's got good manners. He says please and thank you, and he's kind, and it's all of that where I give him. It's difficult to say what I want to say. I feel like I give him the good stuff. I try to give him teach him the good stuff, but without the threat of, if you don't do it, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
Because that's one of my biggest. And sorry, we're going down a bit of a rabbit hole here. We'll get out of it soon. But it's it's always a very interesting conversation for me. Is the way that I grew up, there was always it's almost like an ultimatum where you have to do this or bad stuff will happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bit of a generational thing, because I've seen it with friends of mine as well, where I truly believe that if I raise my kid to be a good kid, then he'll just be a good person one day.
Yeah.
And irrespective of what religion he will follow, if he wants to, I feel like if you're just a kif person, you're a kif person, and then you'll end up in the right place. Fucking irrespective of where it is. I love the word kif, my man. It's one of my favorite words.
What was the word I was thinking about today? I was listening to Jack Sparrow yesterday. Robot.
Oh, he's got lots of kif words.
Lekker.
But let's get this conversation has gotten way too deep. Tell me what
cycles.
we need to bring Tolly Botter back into this conversation.
That's a kif loop, eh?
Tolly Botter, if you guys are listening, I'd love to have you guys as a sponsor on the podcast. Anyway, getting back to your travels, Mart. Fucking hell, we went quite deep now, but I do enjoy.
That's what she said.
Oh, cheers, my man.
Cheers.
While you
this is the rest of the sausage, by the way.
Fucking hell, you charred that thing, my man. While you were on your Middle Eastern part of the trip, you came to a place in the middle of the fucking desert that was just a house built of mirrors.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Tell me about that place, because that's fucking the photos are just fucking amazing.
I just found out a few days later it was a concert hall. I didn't have fucking idea what it was, but I knew it was there. So I just went there.
Did you not go in?
No, I didn't go in. It was closed, and
okay.
And we were trying to make some cool photos from weird places, and the police kept chasing us. Like, oh, you can't be here! You can't be here! It was funny. Yeah.
There's one of the photos that you took was quite fucking amazing, where you managed. I don't know if you did this on purpose, but I almost want to say I want to put the link to that photo in the description of this episode because it's a fucking amazing photo. It's just I take it's in the middle of fucking the desert. It's just this mirrored building, and when I say mirrored, I mean from top to bottom mirrored.
100% mirrored. Yeah.
And you managed to take a photo that the mountains in front of you and the mountains that are mirrored almost match up perfectly. I don't know if you meant to do that, but it's one of the best. It's one of the most amazing fucking photos that I've honestly seen in my life. And
thank you.
Yeah, well done. But it is. I mean, that place is to build something like that. There is just it's tremendous.
Yeah, the thing is with Saudi, they are looking. So Saudi is an oil country, and they have to do something with it, because oil is gonna run out, or nobody wants oil anymore, and so they're looking at Dubai and stuff, how they do it, with tourism, and so they're trying to organize everything to like make stuff.
Oh, they have to spend their cash before they have to pay tax on it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at the photos right now, but I'm not fine. Oh yeah,
it was on one of your stories, I think.
Yeah, I think the picture is actually I took of my friend. Let me see. Yeah, I think the best one is of my friend on this KTM. Where is it? Fuck shit. But the fun thing is actually quite easy because it's just like a line going through there,
That's not the photo that I'm talking about. There's one that you took. It almost looks as if you're taking it from above.
All right,
but I was wondering who the fuck cleans all of those mirrors.
What did you smoke?
Because there must be a guy with a fucking squeegee going, for fuck's sakes.
Somebody touched it again.
Yeah.
Fucking fingerprints on it again. Yeah. Yeah. And you have a shit job.
There's one specific question that I want to ask you about that trip. Going around that little disco shisha that you bought there.
Yeah.
Me looking in from the outside, I could see how much pleasure you took in that little disco shisha.
Mate, there's carnival this weekend, and we all dress up. I bought all my shit today to dress up like a shisha coming weekend.
Be your own little disco shisha.
I spent over 100 euros on stuff.
Fucking hell.
To build my costume.
But looking back on something like that, because I could also, it's funny how, I mean, I followed your stories and I looked at all the photos and stuff, and it was heartbreaking for me when you actually fell down the stairs. I think you fell down the stairs and broke that shisha. And the moment I saw it, I went, oh no, this is sadness now. But do you, I now once again went into a deep dive in terms of thought, is that what keeps you sort of motivated? Not necessarily motivated, but is it the small little things like that that keeps you going, where you go, okay, I'm gonna do this, the next 200 kilometers of shitty roads and bike driving, whatever, because I know I can, at the end of the day, have a little disco there with a shisha? Or is it just a thing?
That's actually one of the things that made me really happy, because the ritual of setting it up and blah blah. And actually, it kept you off your phone and had fun. And it was also like, it became. It started as a joke, but became such a big part of my trip, and also about on my Instagram account because yeah, it really became
Everyone's
actually when I was
invested.
yeah. So when that one broke, like the same day or the day after, we bought a new one, or I bought a new one, and I have it here like 5 meters away from me. And when I was in England for that overland event, and my bike was in the bike show, and had the shisha proud next to my bike. Yeah, it was such a nice thing to have at the end of the day. Although I quit smoking like in 2017, such a good ritual. Man, maybe I'll light it up tonight.
Do you think that you being as free as we said now, okay, there's different types of freedom, right? Different interpretations of freedom. Do you think that you having that shisha and having that sort of routine of parking your bike or ending your day of travel and going and smoking that little bit of, do you think that's sort of your body going like, no, we want a bit of routine?
Oh, no. No, I think it's just a
Just
joke running
something
out of
fun to
hand.
do at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. Instead of scrolling your phone, yeah, it was just fun. And I
You know,
was with this guy who was just like very addicted to something really fast. He always smoked, and then he started vaping, and then during the trip he stopped vaping, and then he just couldn't. We got the shisha, and he couldn't live without the shisha anymore. And yeah, so it was always there. And we also, if you didn't feel like setting up the shisha, we got shisha somewhere, and yeah, it was just like a fun thing to do.
well, I guess something like that is a point of it's a starting point of conversation. It is okay. Let's sit and do this thing instead of someone
Yeah,
sits on the couch and someone's on the bed and you're on your phone. Where if you sat around something like that, you almost, I don't want to say forced, but in a sense you are forced into conversation because you're
it's like a
sitting.
campfire.
Yeah, it's like a campfire.
Yeah, but it was also very funny because you have Cappadocia. It's one of the most touristic places in Turkey, is with all the balloons and the penis rocks. Um, there's literally
Penis.
penis. They call it the Valley of Love, which is like all this rock formation looking like a penis. Um, we were at the hostel and they were like, "Oh yeah, you want to smoke a shisha? Can we use your stove to light up the coals?" And they were like, "No, no, no, it's not gonna happen." So I took the stove out of my panniers and just like on the rooftop of the hostel, I started lighting up these coals, and suddenly like the whole hostel was there, and like the owner of the hostel was first like, "What the fuck is happening here?" And then, oh, these guys are actually pretty cool, and it was like very happy. Like suddenly there was like stuff going on in this hostel. People were connected because of we were just lighting up the shisha there and drinking shitloads of beer. But that's a different conversation.
It's it's interesting that something so simple can be a focal point of conversation. Because
Yeah,
it forces you, I think it forces you into proximity with someone. You
yeah,
can't sit over there. You have to sit here.
yeah. And like, what's going on? And also like this stupid light that's flickering around. So we couldn't light up the shisha without putting that stupid LED light on.
You played a bit of golf.
With the South African dude.
What was that like? Take me through that, because you do not strike me as a golfer.
No, there was just midget golf. No, I was in Oman, and I was camping for 3 nights in a row, and just doing like great dirt riding. Just I was dust from my head to my toes, and they were like, "Oh, let's book this hotel in the Emirates." And when you get from Oman to the Emirates, you have this weird mountain. It's like I don't know, like a baguette laying on the earth, and on top of that, there was the castle of the king or whatever what, and he had a lot of great cars. So he wanted a nice road to his castle to enjoy his cars. It's like this crazy road going up there. And up there's just a few hotels, and we were like, let's book a night at a nice hotel. So we booked a night at the Mercury Hotel, and we played golf there, and we had like view over one side over Saudi, other side over the Emirates. Watched the Formula One, watch Max win again, obviously, and yeah. But our friend Roy, our South African friend Roy, he didn't like losing that much.
So are you a good golfer?
No. This was midget golf, you know. It's just like with all those things in between, you have to, I don't know,
Like
play
putt-putt.
over. Like what? What do you say? Like
Putt-putt. We
a
call
butt
it
plug?
putt-putt. No. Putt-putt. No, we call it putt-putt in South Africa because you're just putting the whole time.
Yeah. Probably, yeah.
Miniature golf.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure that I saw photos of you on a golf course.
Oh yeah. That was actually the golf. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So it was Ramadan, and I was in a Muslim country. There was not a lot to eat, but in Bahrain there's a golf course where all the rich Western people come.
But sorry, I just want to interject there. Are you, as a Westerner, also not allowed to eat during Ramadan?
No, but
How
no
does that
restaurant
work?
is open. No restaurant is open, so it's hard to get food. And yeah, like a bit
Really?
of yeah. Apart from the golf club, in a Muslim country where they sell full English breakfast with proper British thick bacon and pork sausages in the middle of the day during Ramadan. So that's
So
that's
during
what.
Ramadan they close everything.
Yeah. So the
I
thing
did
is
not
with
know that.
so if somebody practices Ramadan here in Europe, they just don't eat during the day.
Yeah.
Which is fucking hard because you get expected to start working at 9 o'clock and go home at 5:30. But what happens in the Middle East? They wake up at whatever 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the
Yeah,
afternoon,
before the sun's out.
and then no, in the afternoon.
Oh, the afternoon.
Yeah, and they just live like through the whole night, and like at 4 a.m. they have dinner, and then they go to bed.
Bloody hell. Okay. So they just
So
switch, basically.
yeah, they're doing like a night shift for 4 weeks. But yeah, traveling at night is
Bloody
quite
hell.
shit. And yeah, so I was eating chocolate croissants for fucking hell, my fucking headphones. I was eating chocolate croissants for 4 weeks as lunch. But in this place in Bahrain, they did full English breakfast during the day during Ramadan. It was €20 for a fry up, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, when in Rome.
Exactly.
Tell me now, okay, so you fresh off your Morocco trip.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I want to ask you is why did you go to Spain first?
Because I shipped my bike to Malaga. You can ship your bike from the Netherlands to Malaga for a few $100, and then you just fly there. And then you have to ride fucking 2,000 kilometers just to get to the boat in Morocco. And 2,000 back.
Why can't you just ship your bike to Morocco?
No, this is way cheaper.
Oh, okay.
And no international hassle. It's just like part of the European Union. It's a Dutch company who has like a base in the Netherlands and one in Malaga. So yeah, it's fucking easy. Just leave your bike there and pick it up.
Was it obviously this is not the trip that you did now was with two other guys. Was it a big difference planning a trip with basically a team instead of just you?
The biggest difference is that like you have suddenly such a small window of time to do a trip, where like in the previous trip I had like shitloads of time. And yeah, what I told before, my mate got food poisoning like before we hit the shores of Morocco. So yeah, it's only like this little thing that happens, and your whole plan goes to shit. Yeah, it was a lot different. So we rode way too much. Didn't have enough breaks. Yeah, shit happened from it. Had a couple crashes, and yeah.
I want to ask you about the crashes in a second, but do you think you guys was it sort of a thing where you was it planned that you did so much riding in the day, or do you think it was sort of a thing where you almost challenged each other to go the distance?
No, no. The idea was just to. So we missed like the first 2 3 days because of breakdowns and illness. Um, so we had way much more to ride than in a shorter time. And the thing is, you get south and you need to go back, and you're like, oh no, I'm not going to take the highway back. I'll just take the nice route back and make some longer days, and which always sounds like a great choice, but it always is. In the end, you're just so fucking tired. Like stupid hill climbs, like with rocks, and normally we just ride up and have like a major crash, and well, major's maybe a bit over exaggerated, shit word, but yeah, uh, not a lot of unnecessary stuff happens. So yeah,
There's two of the big crashes that are, well, as you say, exaggerated, but two of the big crashes that I saw on your posts was the one was when the guy cut you off while you guys were in like thick sand and shit.
oh, that was not one of the two I was talking about. That was number three.
Oh, was that number three? Okay, well, let's talk about that one.
Oh, yeah, that was. Oh, that was actually not too bad. It's like this really sandy part. It was like I don't know 2 or 3 kilometers of really 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 deep sand, and I only have 24 horsepower. Plus, there's 80,000 kilometers on the clock, so it probably doesn't have 24
You
horsepower
lose a
anymore.
few, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I was hammering it down, and he cut me off, and I had to close the throttle, and then I lost momentum and stopped, and then had to get away again, and then I dropped the bike. There was nothing bad at that point, and then I hit some grass and took some airtime, flew over the handlebars, which wasn't that bad at all, or as well. Um,
The crash that you took over that low water bridge.
that was the biggest one.
I looked at that video, and as you were driving up to, I think I was lying in bed, um, looking at that video, and I told my wife he's gonna fall. Watch the video, and then obviously you fell, because that is one of the sort of biggest. I won't say no-nos, but I think I mentioned in a previous conversation, I had a BMW GS 1200, and I was always so fucking scared going over those low water bridges because it's a constant little water flow, and there's always a bit of slippery muck in there. And
Yeah,
the moment I saw that fucking bridge, I thought, yeah, now he's gonna go down.
thing is, it was like number 8, and the first 7 were just solid. And it was just like, just put my legs up and keep dry feet and go through the water. And just that one was just filled with algae, and my bike wanted to low side, and I got through it, and my front wheel grabbed traction, and I just high sided over the bike, just went face forward, buff onto the tarmac. It was fucking scary, and also my friends were fucking scared. My mate just dropped his bike and ran to me because my bike fell on top of me, and it looked really rough. But in the end, it wasn't too bad. But fucking hell, I think that was the most scary moment I ever had on my bike.
How fast were you driving? Do you know?
I don't know, 40, 50.
One of the biggest things that I took out of that crash was I think your comment of you're so glad that you are very anal about proper riding gear.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's like stupid stuff like this, where you can have big crashes. You know, I once broke my ankle and my leg over 3 millimeters of snow, and it hurt for more than a year. Um, you just have to be prepared for the worst, or prepared for the worst. Yeah, shit happens everywhere, and especially it's easy sections. You know, we were riding through this gorge, and it was fucking beautiful, and I was enjoying, and I had the feeling of traveling again, the feeling I didn't have for over 6 months, and I was so relaxed, and like I said, we were really taking it easy, and then you have this big crash. It's fucking stupid. Oh yeah, feels fucking stupid to say, but you always wear your fucking gear, and there's a reason why I wear over 2,000 euros of gear when I'm on the bike.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it keeps you out the hospital. It saves
Yeah,
you from a 40,000 euro fucking trip to the hospital.
yeah. And you don't want to be in the fucking hospital or waiting for an ambulance in the middle of Morocco.
Did you spend the next, for argument's sake, 2 days riding a bit more carefully after that, or did you just carry on?
I couldn't ride normal that day anymore. The day after went a lot better. But later the day after, I had quite a big crash as well. Going up a rocky hill climb. And from that moment on, I couldn't ride anymore. It's getting in your head so much. It's meshes. You know, when you're riding dirt, like your bike goes everywhere, and it feels like playing, and then suddenly, like every step out your bike takes, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm gonna crash. Fuck, I'm gonna crash.
Yeah.
And then if like 30 kilometers of dirt left, and like, fucking hell, it takes for ages. So glad when you see tarmac.
How do you have you got a trick to get over that sort of mental barrier of after a crash like that, or do you just sort
A
of
good night of
try
sleep.
and get on with it?
A good night of sleep is the only thing that helps. You have to reset yourself, and only sleep will reset it. That's about it. And the rest, I think, like, you know, I've quite some riding experience, and I know like that. I know I can ride. You know, I'm not a fantastic rider, but I know I can ride. You know, and I
Well,
know what happens.
you've
But
done 60,000 plus kilometers now.
yeah, I did over 100,000 kilometers at least.
Oh, there you go.
It's only 80 already on this bike, and then on other bikes as well. So yeah, but that fear is it's just a night of sleep you need to get, and then it's a lot better.
Are you still happy with the 250cc, or looking back, do you think a bigger motor would have saved you here and there?
Would have saved me? No, definitely not. Would have killed me. Now, kills maybe exaggerated, but yeah, I said it well one time. But
Oh, but just
I've
in the
been
sense of maybe that cliche of what do they say? When in doubt, throttle out.
yeah. So in the sand, it would have helped me definitely. But there's so many moments, like these quite scary moments, like you get whiskey throttles or whatever. What and when you only have like 24 horsepower, it's like
Yeah.
okay, I close it up again. But if you have like a 690 or something and you have 80 horsepower on your rear wheel and you just like and you go straight into the bush, oh, that's fucking scary. So I've talked with that about Henriette a lot. That saved us quite some times. And I think if you're traveling, you're not in a hurry. Why bother? But on the other hand, there's also a thing like like a little bit of excitement. So yeah, I'm planning to buy an old BMW later this year to build my ultimate travel bike, which will have a little bit more horsepower. But yeah, I think yeah, it's good to have 250 on a big trip.
With the knowledge that you've built up now over all of your travels, I know the last time that we spoke, you were still busy 3D printing some other thing for your GPS system, I think. What have you changed from in terms of tech, like GPS and stuff like that? What did you change from your trip through Africa and the Middle East going into your Moroccan trip?
I've been to fucking Garmin. Garmin is a company full of fucking assholes who keep on selling old shit to everyone. And I changed to a platform called Drive Mode Dashboard, which is run by a Portuguese guy who's just like a fucking tech nerd and bike enthusiast, and just builds everything we need on bikes. And he started producing hardware as well since 10 months ago. And it's freaking insane. And yeah, it's like tech wise, the biggest thing that's changed. Oh, fucking Garmin.
Is it? I was wondering because I listened to a podcast a while ago, like many years ago, with one of these oaks that do like Dakar.
Yeah.
And I say this guy specifically said you don't want a big screen because you tend to look at the screen too much and you don't look at what's ahead of you. Where I think picking up what you have put out on your socials, your screen's gotten much bigger.
It's fucking huge. No,
It
I
is.
don't.
You've got a 32-inch screen in front of you
Oh,
now.
40.
So I mean,
No, I don't agree.
is that a change for you for better?
Yeah, I don't agree with this guy. And maybe it is for him because well, if you ride Dakar, you're running from a road book, so you get like very limited information.
Yeah.
But what I can do is I see the surroundings and I see my track I want to ride, and especially with off roading, I can now look way further where I want to go than instead of just like a few hundred meters.
Yeah.
And
Fourth into left into straight into
yeah, exactly,
into...
exactly. And I was riding with my friend, and I was using the tablet, and he was using the phone variant of it, so it's like 5 inch. And I was indicating where we were. I was riding in front, and I was already indicating we're going to go ride, and he couldn't even see the corner yet. So
okay.
yeah, I
Just
think
get more feedback, more information.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And it's just cool tech going on. Like you can log into your OBD2 with your bike and just get all the information from your bike, and that's nice.
Is there a massive cost difference?
No, like a Garmin like Sumo costs like €550, and like tablet costs €650. So maybe $100 more. But the other hand, when you're traveling, you have your navigation, get in your tent, you can watch Netflix on it or whatever. It's just an Android tablet. So yeah.
Okay, so it's not a single-use thing. It's not just
No.
a GPS. You can do a lot more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the thing is, because it's so modern and techy, like it's really evolving to a very social thing. It's like they are building like a social network around it. So if we're riding buddies, in a few months, I can see where you're riding. So if we're on a trip together, I know you're there and there. But also, it's because it's Android based. It's Google based. I put everything in the Google Drive folder. All the tracks I put in there, you automatically have on your device. Stuff like that, and that's a big plus.
Oh, it's shareable. It's easy.
Yeah.
What upgrades in your pack up or pack out or whatever you want to call it, your total shit that you load onto your bike, have you made in terms of tech? Drones and GPSs and all of this. Did you make quite a few upgrades since your big trip?
No. So I already had a drone before I left on the big trip, but I didn't take it with me because of the hassle at all the borders. I took it with me to Morocco. I smuggled it into Morocco in my airbox.
Explain to me that. What's the hassle around drones? Is it a safety thing or what? Why?
Yeah, a lot of countries don't want you to bring in drones because of military reasons or whatever. Yeah. So Morocco is also one of the countries, but a little trick: you can put your drone into your airbox of your bike. They will never check your airbox because it's a lot of screws away.
Okay, I'm gonna stop with my. This is the end. This will be the end of. No one. I've got about 20% retention up until this point of the conversation. So not a lot of people will listen to this, so we can go very quasi science and loopy with this part. Oh, wait. Let me do this first. You motherfucker rickrolled me. I was 100% caught. I went through your fucking stuff and I clicked on that link and immediately I went, you no. And it was, you know what it is? Because it's so unassuming that anyone looking at it would go, yeah, fuck, I want to look at a Kif fucking montage of videos and photos. Never gonna give you up. And I sat here going, fuck you, fucking Martin. Well done, though.
Yeah, I was hoping that.
You know what's interesting is I actually went to go have a look. The amount of views on that YouTube video is staggering. And I had to Google how to pronounce it. It is 1.5 billion. 1.5 billion people. When I watched it, it was 1500456208. So it's 1,500,456,208 people have viewed that video. That is crazy.
And 90% were Rickroll.
Yeah. It is I love it. No,
But
fucking
then
well
it's
done.
probably like 50 times on YouTube at least.
No, well done. I must say that is one of the most unassuming fucking rickrolls that I've had in my life.
I also did one on the end of my trip. I did like, oh, you want to see the next plans of my trip, of the plans of the next trip, and also rickrolled a lot of people. So yeah,
Fucking hell.
don't push
No,
my links.
you've been winning. No, but if you think about your trip, obviously specifically about your trip,
Mhm.
not about your life in total, but specifically about your trip. Is there a question that you think like, oh, you know what? This might be one. Wet wipes versus toilet paper.
You know, this is a tough question. So I always bring wet wipes. Always bring wet wipes. But the best combination is take dry wipes first. Take like the big chunky stuff off.
What's
And
dry
then
wipes? Like toilet paper?
like normal toilet paper. You know, do the big stuff with normal toilet paper. Clean it with wet wipes, and then dry it off with normal toilet paper again.
Okay,
That's the
so
best
full
one.
on combination.
Yeah, yeah. Also, one I did. I had the shits in Iraq. Bum gun, and then finish up with toilet paper. That's also a very good
The fuck is a
combination.
bum gun?
You don't know bum gun? I'll show you a
No.
bum gun. Bum.
Is it like just a squirt gun?
Yeah, this is why. This is a bum gun. It is next to the toilet.
It's like a bidet.
Yeah, but then just a spray, not like the top underneath it.
I must say I've never in my life used the bidet.
Yeah.
But okay, so you do, if you can, you do what? Toilet paper, bum gun, toilet paper.
No, then I would do bum gun toilet paper. No toilet paper first.
I fucking love this conversation.
So it's toilet paper, wet wipes, toilet paper, or bum gun toilet paper.
Okay, but like, okay, so this is just a sort of like a voorbeeld of a question. Like we've just spent the last 10 minutes talking about shit. There has to be something that you love to talk about. Fucking exposure of.
Well, that's a thing, and you know, a thing I always wondered is like, how deep do you have to dig the hole when having a wild poo? You know, I always do like 10 centimeters, but is that enough?
Oh, well, in reality, while taking a wild shit, you don't have to dig a hole at all.
Well, I don't know. The place where you choose to wild camp.
If you're in a camping area, 100% dig a hole. If you're in the middle of the fucking desert, my man, shit where you want to shit.
Oh, I'd dig a hole.
Yeah, but then what? How deep is deep enough is a very fucking hypothetical question.
Yeah. Definitely.
Listen here, buddy. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Let's just do this. Let's so that I could just end the episode on this. As always, Martin, where can people find you on the gram and
over there? The no
socials?
coriander.
That's everywhere, hey?
It's everywhere. Well, what's this? All right. No TikTok, no YouTube, only the gram.
Martin, this has been... Are you drinking a Birra Moretti?
Definitely.
My man, that's my favorite beer. Ever since
Mine as
moving
well.
to the UK, this has been... Birra has been my favorite fucking beer.
It's my fave as well.
Oh, let's end on that. Birra Moretti, if you want to sponsor the podcast, go for it. Martin, I love you, my man.
Cheers, brother. And get
much
some
fun.
toddy butter.
Tolly Butter, the stage is open. My man,
Join
I
the
love you.
podcast.
I'll talk to you again. Cheers.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
bro.